hearty welcome to all of you who have come again, or for the first time to our Gita Vahini Satsang, with my most humble pranams to Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. I am really grateful to have the opportunity to facilitate this conversation along with Gita Govindarajan and my co-facilitators who will join us one by one on screen. I welcome all of you to also join us on camera because then we can be together, see each other more. And want to also just take a moment to refresh our minds on where we are today, what we are doing, what journey we have come through over the past 8 months, today being the ninth episode, and then dive into the topic of the day. So, with
Chitra,
that,
I'm
yeah,
gonna just
jump in.
jump right in. We're just gonna keep it as organic as possible. We want to sort of put the disclaimer out there that both of us are, just students in learning, and so what we understand of this topic is what we're presenting along with our co-facilitators. So it's been a topic that Chitra and I have sort of spoken about now for the past several weeks. I think we've hit our head against the walls with this and also experienced it in different ways in our day-to-day existence. So it'll be interesting to see, what comes out of it. We invite the divine to sort of talk through us, speak through us, and experience through us. With that said, we're just going to remind us why we are here today, which is this idea of trying to know ourselves, because everything that we know is within us, and there's nothing outside of us that is required of us. But we've forgotten that eternal principle, and getting to the core of it is the idea behind this text to transformation series that a lot of you have been part and parcel of. And our goal is to continue delving deeper into this book and really take practical examples that we can walk away with. Um, let's see. So one thing that we've always thought about as we think through these topics is, the why. When the why becomes very evident, then the how becomes very easy. I think this is kind of what all of us in this group have sort of recognized and sort of assimilated, and perhaps made it a point to, intentionally think about it as we sort of parse through these various topics. And we invite you to do the same, and allow yourself to be in the flow as we walk through today's episode. As Chitra mentioned and invited you all, we invite you to also grab some tools that would be essential for you, because today's topic is really going to be constructed in a way that it will be a group experiential learning followed by small group discussions, but majority of the work will happen in the larger group, and we will try to tell and show some things, but all of us will do things together. So whatever that needs for you to have that happen, be it a safe space, be it a quiet place, grab your digital tools and or your paper pen, whatever. This is supposed to be a creative process, so hopefully you will take advantage of it for the next hour and 15. With that, I'll turn it over to Chitra to take us through our recap.
Awesome. Thanks, Gita. So, if you've been with us all along, or even if you've dipped your toe in and dipped back out, I want to just give you a quick reminder of the journey we've been on. So we started 8 months ago with just understanding the concept of the modern day Arjuna. So we are all Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, learning from Krishna. So then we learned in our second month the importance of becoming that student, that moment where we realize that we need to surrender everything in order to accept the knowledge that the divine has to give us. So Krishna, at that moment, was able to impart the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Then we talked about in the third month something called flip the switch. So the idea that we have the potential to go from mired inside the problem to switching into accepting the knowledge of the in the Bhagavad Gita and doing something with it. So we gave some practical tools in the following month. So how we actually knock out our challenges. Then in our fifth month, we talked about what that hidden treasure is, revealing that inside when we do all of the work, that we can't proceed, we can't actually transform from in our spiritual journey unless we actually get into the gym, get into the ring, do the work, and then we see the hidden treasure. Then, over the past 3 months, we've been learning about the aspects of the Atma. There are several, and we've talked through three of them. And today we're going to talk through a fourth. So the three that we already talked about were the qualities of the Atma being indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. So this is our soul. You might also kind of call the Atma the soul. Today, we're going to delve into a fourth quality, which is unmanifest. And as Geeta was saying, we really struggled with this one in a good way. Really trying to work through it with you. And we're going to take this another step here. So going to the next. In chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, you'll see that term unmanifest show up in verse 28, where it said, all beings are unmanifest in their beginning, appear in the middle only, and again disappear at their death. With that, I'll send it back over to Gita.
Thanks, Chitra. We'll invite Uncle Suresh Govind to join us in this fairly what we are hoping to have is a fun banter for basically deconstructing some of the things that we have spoken about and just allow for a conversation to happen. And what we also invite the audience to do is to also jump in with questions and queries on the chat, and our facilitators will kind of help sort of navigate the conversation along the way as well. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of what unmanifest really means. All of us have heard of the word manifest, and we have really taken, the word unmanifest itself was a topic of consternation for a lot of us when we first got the word. But when you start to deconstruct it, you realize that it is the blanket that is surrounding all of us. And it is so important to sort of explore that. And what would be some of the tools to try to deconstruct that? And this is kind of where Chitra and I came up with this idea of perhaps we need to pause and recognize and understand the pause, and hence the London Tube Metro became the thought process behind Mind the Gap. And then the other part of it is really letting go. And we explore these topics in these two simple ways, or at least we think simple enough at the moment. So we start off with a blank slate. And this is kind of where creation apparently started. It was just space and ether. And then the unmanifest, as we like to think about, was always there, present. And then out of the unmanifest arose all these manifestations that you and I are part of, the creation, etc. So if you think about the word, and this was a definition that we threw out for you guys to consider over the past week, and think about it in your own ways. How does this show up for you on a weekly basis? So when you think about unmanifest, it's, as Chitra pointed out, it is considered to be an attribute of the Atma, that is the soul that's within all of us, that is the charioteer that's taking us through the vagaries of life. It truly represents the realm of infinite potential where all the possibilities exist before taking form. So, realm of infinite potential where all possibilities exist before taking form. it can show up as a silent space between actions, thoughts, and moments. And when you lean into that silence and you let go of all that which holds you back, it allows you to embrace that unmanifest in its entirety. We tap into our creativity, the insights happen there, and that allows us to manifest the best versions of ourselves. Bunch of words put together in this format, you may argue, but let's take this step by step. So, when we think about this again, you have the eternal white space, a blank canvas, and suddenly a dot appears. And now this dot is the manifest form, and that could be you, I, the tree. But regardless of that, the contrast that is presented by this, you recognize that the unmanifest is always surrounding this manifest form. In other words, all of us that were created from this unmanifest and became different forms and shapes still continue to be surrounded by this blanket cloth, which, in that movie trailer, Dustin Hoffman does a fabulous job of explaining it much more than we could ever do, of recognizing to always be aware of this blanket that surrounds us. A seed truly has the power within it to transform into a tree. When we look at that seed at that point in time, we may or may not necessarily recognize that it has the potential, but we all know that the seed truly has the potential to transform and become the tree. Michelangelo, one of the most famous sculptors in time, always was asked, how did he create the statue of David, which was actually the block of stone that he utilized was actually something that was discarded by Leonardo da Vinci. And interestingly enough, he saw the potential of that stone, and he's said to have said that every block of stone has a statue inside it, and truly it's the task of the sculptor to discover it. So this is you looking outside at it externally, but imagine if you could also look within and recognize that you have the ability to reshape and reimagine yourself in a different life, in a different light, and reimagine yourself in a better version of yourself. So this is kind of the concept that may help you understand. But let's take it a step further. We understand this and we know that this exists. Ideally, at this point in time, if you were to pause your life and look back at your life, you know that you are at your present age because you've obviously walked through all the steps of being a child, a youth, and depending on where you are, an adult and even an older adult. You have walked through the steps, but maybe as a 5-year-old, it would have been very hard for you to imagine a life at 30 or a 40 or a 50-year-old. But yet, that potential of you becoming what you are with all your accolades and all your variety of different things was always present inside of you. All you did was unearth that in the process of development, in the process of, learning, constructing yourself in different ways. But in that process, we also have learned to limit our potential because we recognize that we are just this and we're not this. So I invite you to join this really powerful 2-minute video that to me seal the deal on how we think about unmanifest. And so this is actually taking the help of and a commercial person, an ad guy, and he does a fantabulous job of explaining it. So join me. What a wonderful concept, even though maybe that wasn't his original intention, but I think he's wonderfully described what the innate potential of the human being is in sort of learning to look differently, learning to take a different step, a path less traveled by, and be able to capture. And how does that happen? That's involves tapping into that inner potential. I'll invite Suresh Uncle to maybe jump in at this point and share some thoughts.
Thank you. And by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagavan Baba, we all are here in this beautiful satsang. And what we just saw just now in that video is talking to you about the common dots. The common dots denote the common habits, the common points, the common destination, the common path that people take in order to go through their lives. See, after some time, what happens is the senses that goes out to create this world, we start to become habituated into that particular role. And so this is what the common dots are. And so we just go on along the common dots and we just consider that. And then we will use this four-letter word called life to identify what we are leading. And this is the manifested world that we live in, manifested world that we live in. However, what they are saying is that the unmanifested world is just as what has been explained just now. The unmanifested tree is in the manifested seed. The unmanifested graduate is in the manifested child in the cradle, isn't it? If you go to the maternity ward, you see the child. That child has the potential to become a graduate, but that graduate is still unmanifested. So literally what it implies is that in every situation, there is an unmanifested solution. In every challenge, there is an unmanifested solution. But to detect that unmanifested solution, there is a need for us to firstly understand that there is a realm of internal infinite potential. There is a source from which I can tap. This first understanding must be there. The moment I know there is a source that I can tap from, I will not become suffocated, I will not become limited, I will not become depressed, I will not become undervalued. I will have my esteem because I always have my Atma as a friend. Remember, we started this journey by saying Atma is my friend and Atma is within. And Atma 3 months ago, we already described it, a few months ago, we already described it as a few qualities. And today we are describing that one of my friend's quality is that he's able to manifest for me all my solution. He's able to make me see unseen dots. He's able to make me connect to those unseen dots and form a new visualization of a solution. My God, if I have that resource within me, then why should I fall down? Why should this is what Krishna did in Arjuna. He managed to help. You see, he couldn't see beyond. He was connecting the dots and he collapsed. And Krishna then created the new dots for him to see. And then he started to connect all those dots and then he awakened himself. And after the 17 chapters of Gita, he rehabilitated into a new individual and he was able to challenge life. So in the same way, we need to make sure that we become more and more aware. In fact, the word mind the gap is just another word for increase your awareness. The more and more awareness we increase, we will know where the loopholes are, where the potholes are, and then we'll start minding the gap and we'll now be treading a safe path and reaching our destination. So this is the idea of this chapter, of this particular portion of the section in describing the Atma unmanifest.
Perfect. Thanks, Uncle. So we'll move on to the second segment, which is really getting into the how of the unmanifest. Because so far, we've tried our best to explain it, and we understand that it may have gone over people's heads, and totally fine because it took us many weeks of trying to go through this. But let's get to the nitty-gritty of things. So this concept of mind the gap and art of letting go were two concepts that we felt was necessary in sort of trying to, get a grasp on this concept of unmanifest. As Uncle just pointed out, mind the gap allows you to become mindful of the space that exists in everything between our words, nature, in our music. And I know a lot of you that are joining us today are all creative human beings of their own right. Some of you are, artists, some of you are musicians, some of you are instrumentalists, some of you are amazing cooks. So what makes you so inspired to put raw ingredients together and, create something wonderful out of it, you are in a way taking the unmanifest potential of a raw thing and making it into a product, the manifest. But in order to do that, and I think the next two exercises are really about recognizing that you're actually doing this on a regular basis, and leaning into it and becoming more intentional about it allows you to, get into the source a lot more and even allow it to be useful in your day-to-day existence. When I think about how to make this concept of mind the gap more real, I think about music. And I'm pretty sure all of you, if you're not musicians or at least have an ear for music. And Mozart describes this perfectly well by saying the music is not in the notes, but in the silence between. And even when you listen to some of the greatest musical artists, they have all taken, they have really used the gap, the intentional pauses to create brilliant nuances to the once existed music pieces and made it their own. If you think about the cover songs that exist, those are also, the same raw material, but then with the finer nuances of the silences have really made that particular product their own. So we'll now take a brief experiential moment, and I invite you to all sit up straight. Close your eyes if you can, or if you're able to. And I want you to intently listen to what you are about to hear. I want you to feel what you're feeling and remember what you're feeling so you can share in a bit what you felt. And also how, what were the pieces that made you intrigued about this rendition? As you come back from that, we're going to take you through two different experiences, but this time with words. One experience that would be music that has a particular characteristic, and another piece which doesn't have any which has a different characteristic. So I want you to lean in and pay attention to this.
नारायण हरि नाम भजो नारायण हरि नाम भजो नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नाम भजो गोवर्धन गिरिधारा वृंदावन संचार गोपी गोकुल बाला जय साई परति विहारा जय साई परति विहारा.
So that was piece number one. And this is piece number two.
नारायण हरि नाम भजो नारायण हरि नाम भजो नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नाम भजो गोवर्धन गिरिधारा वृंदावन संचारा गोपी गोकुलबाला जय साई पार्ति विहारा जय साई पार्ति विहारा नारायण नारायण.
So you've had two experiences, and I'm gonna just randomly pick on people to just sort of shout out what they felt when they first heard Om, which was being sung at 396 hertz, which is supposed to be the frequency with which the creative primordial Om was started. Sai Prasananti and or Amit, if you guys want to unmute yourself and just maybe share. And if there are others who have potentially said something on chat, I'm not able to look. Chitra, would you mind just picking on them if they are willing to share their experiences?
Saira, I felt like I was in a Star Wars ship because the whole thing was like I was going into space, but there was also the beauty of getting into space, but there was this sound at the back of that, which felt like I was in a spaceship. And I wanted silence, but then I just felt like I was getting into space, which was a happy moment, like it's expansion. But I also felt I was on a moving vehicle. So that's how I felt.
Thank you. Amit, are you able to mute yourself and share your thoughts? But is there anybody else on chat who's willing to share?
Yeah, we had a comment from Anusha.
No, Uma Auntie has actually shared. Uma Auntie, would you like to share? Please unmute, Auntie.
Saram, I didn't get the disturbance in the first. The Om I thought was beautiful. I liked how um it sort of tapered. So it was almost like you could. I thought of it like so hum, so and hum, and it was beautiful for me. But the second one, the two renditions that you did. Oh, are we not talking about that? Am I jumping
No, we
ahead?
can. No. You can. Since you started, you might as well finish it out. That's fine.
Okay, so I definitely beautiful singing by Rajat, but I prefer the second one. I didn't in the first one. There was this echo type of a thing going on, something with music, which was a little distracting. It was almost like my mind, how it what I'm struggling with right now, where the mind constantly keeps talking to me, my critical mind. So those are my
Perfect.
thoughts, Sairam.
Thank
Excellent.
you. And then there's Bharat Patel from Fremont. Would you like to unmute yourself and share what you thought?
Sairam. Yeah, so for the Om, I felt like it went inside of me and it was kind of energizing my inner being. I thought that was very powerful. Um, you could, I thought that I could actually feel the vibration inside. It just had that kind of an impact, the quality of the sound and the vibration and the pitch level and everything. And it felt like it just kind of awakening you up from within. The other two, the first one, I thought that the different pitch of the sound, and the second one felt more kind of deep sound within your throat, trying to express itself.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
There were a bunch of other comments that were very similar about sounding, resonating within them.
Awesome.
And yes, very similar comments, Gita.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, this is just a brief snippet to sort of, get you thinking about the pause. Obviously, there are different renditions of this that you can like think about, but the idea behind the bhajan pieces, the music piece, was really recognizing like how important the importance of the breath work in singing becomes. In the first one, by not really giving enough space between the various lines and of the lyrics, like it just felt like you felt stress listening to it. You're like, oh man, if he could just stop and take a pause. That kind of was the intention behind it, although we could have speeded it up and done some other funky stuff with it to drive home the point. But I will maybe ask Rajit to unmute himself really briefly and just share his experience. And I asked him to really think about, as he was creating these pieces for us, what were some of the thought processes. It's one thing for us to hear it, but for him to actually do it is yet another part of it. So go on, Rajit. Thank you.
Saram, thank you for this opportunity. I have been singing for slightly over a decade right now. Like I started singing back in like 2011. And when this concept about, space between music, the very saying what Mozart said, came about, I was intrigued a bit, but I didn't know what it like actually meant until I did this exercise, because it was so annoying. It was literally the same track, but when I superimposed one track over the other, I felt so much chaos inside me. But when I prepared the second track, it felt more genuine and more natural, and it was more organic. And sometimes in the bhajan also, I've noticed that, suddenly when all the instruments like stop, just so the lead singer can sing the next line, that very space is magical. It's divine bliss. So yeah, those are my 2 cents. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Rajit. Uncle, would you want to perhaps take us through the gaps?
Yeah. So this Om, when you chant the Om, the A, U, and M, I'm not sure whether you know, because A stands for Akara, U stands for Ukara, M stands for Mukara. So there is one entire Upanishad dedicated for this, the Mandukya Upanishads. The whole Upanishad is on this Om. And then goes up and then there's a gap. You see, when there's a gap between one Om chanting and the other Om chanting. So the gap in between is called Turiya stage. So this Turiya stage is a very deep penetrating stage. So once you finish the cycle of Om and come down to the deep, there is a silence. That deep penetrating silence before you start the next Om is the opportunity to become acquainted with that silence, because it's like a door. It opens up and then you fall into the unmanifested realm. So if you keep on chanting Om in that mode, you increase the frequency, as what Gita said. And as it goes up, as your frequency goes up, and then you come into that silence, the door opens, there's a chance that you can tap new infinite realm, tap into the unmanifested potentials that we possess. So this is why the silence is very, very important for spiritualists. So enjoy the silence, because these are opportunities for us to tap some newer potentials that we possess. Saira. And of course, am I supposed to continue? Oh no, it's yours. Oh, okay. So therefore, in most of the time, AUM, we always say Om, but most of the time is OM. OM, you see, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Ganapatiye Namaha, Om. So we have a simple formula that we were taught much earlier when we were young, is that whenever you do something, use the Om concept. What is that? Whether my objective of what I'm doing, is it noble? And then whether the motive is pure. It's a very powerful aligning thought, It keeps you very much focused so that you don't deviate from what you know, what you do. So objective means whatever you do in this world, is this objective noble? Noble means, is it encompassing? Is this far-reaching? Is this consequential? How noble is this particular thought that I possess? And then what is the motive of me having my thought? This is also very pure. This too can enable us to purify. And Baba said, you must have what is called Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi means purification of the consciousness. As you keep on purifying, you find that you will have the ability to now experience silence and go deeper within to tap the realm. So what happens when a problem comes? You're so focused on the problem that you cannot see, you cannot connect the dots, you cannot slip into the silence, you cannot see whether your objective is noble, you cannot see, you are in that confusion. This is why we can't find solutions. So these are the clouds that stop us from finding solutions. Saira.
You're muted, Gita.
Before we go into the topic of the art of letting go, just kind of wanted to again take a quick rewind to say why the concept of Om was again reinforced in this. When you think about silence, and when you're trying to silence the mind, the word Om becomes something simple that you can hold on to. And when you think about Om and its use, as Uncle sort of mentioned, it becomes the start of doing anything that you're wanting to do. And by tapping into the words OM, making sure that the objective of whatever you're going to start is noble, and as long as your motive is for the greater good of mankind, you have the ability to really dive deep into the potential that exists. And it's a very simple way now that you can sort of take back and think about. And the fun fact about OM is that AUM are the only 3 syllables that you can utter in, through your mouth, in which the tongue is not involved at all, which is a very interesting fact. I know most of you are not trying to say it, but try it, because it's the only 3 syllables that do not require your tongue. So in a way, the tongue goes, your senses go backwards, and the word and the potential of the word Om has quite a bit of significance. With that, I turn it over to Chitra, who's going to take us through a fun set of experiential learning around the topic of the art of letting go.
Thanks. So as Gita and Uncle both mentioned, there's an opportunity for us to think about the silence, an opportunity for us to focus in on the silence. There's also an opportunity for us to think about the clutter in our lives. So we all are very busy. We all have a million things going on, especially with our cell phones beeping, our laptops going, people asking us questions, millions of decisions we have to make every day that clutter our minds. And I don't know about you, but I certainly, on a given day, can feel exhausted by the level of decision making. And I can either try to get rid of the clutter in my life, those decisions. I can try to be more efficient in certain ways. I can try to constrain the amount of activities that I go to. I can, come up with a million, and there's so many books out there that will, and people who will claim to coach you in different ways of minimizing the clutter in our lives. And here we also have the opportunity, and this is a new thing that I have really been reflecting on as a part of this process, is what if we were to instead focus on in expanding our awareness of the Atma? How would that, if you advance the slide, we could actually minimize that clutter because we're actually expanding our knowledge of this Atma to the point where if that Atmic consciousness is so big that the clutter actually seems completely minuscule and inconsequential to our lives. So I want to take us through a visualization that would allow us to try that out. Now, this is not the only way we can do it, but before I take you through the visualization, one more concept. This is an idea of letting go. So we all, if you want to proceed to the next slide again. Okay, you're watching now an Olympic gymnast on the uneven bars. One more time, can you play it? Great. I think this is Olympic gymnast Simone Biles, the greatest of all time, doing something amazing, jumping from one bar to another. Okay. So now I'd like to open up the floor for just what did anyone notice when they saw that?
She
Just a
was
couple of
very
volunteers. Yeah,
She
sorry.
was very precise. Means it was just amazing how she very seamlessly went from the one bar to the other. No clumsy movement, just perfect precision.
Beautiful. Thank you. One more volunteer. What else did you notice?
Total focus.
Total focus. Yes. Good. Anything else? So I see in the chat the timing from Nianta. The timing of letting go is really important. Yes. Yes. Practice. Absolutely. You can't do that without a lot of practice. Anything else? One last comment.
Focus.
Confidence. Confidence.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Surrender.
Surrender. Yes. So I want to pick up on that point. So we have, and then faith. Yes. Beautiful. So when in that moment between those two bars, they have the faith, perhaps because they practiced for whatever reason, they have the faith that the next bar is going to catch them, that they are going to grab it and be able to complete their practice, their rotations in this routine. And if what happens if we weren't to have that faith? Like in this picture you see right here on this slide, where someone is gripping that bar. Okay, what happens? What will happen if they stay fixed on that bar? I'll take another volunteer.
Sooner or later, they would slip and fall down.
Exactly. Exactly. They're stuck, right? No progress, right? They won't move forward. This is in the chat. Beautiful. So this is what we also do in our lives. How many times do we notice that we cling onto a problem or a situation? And what if instead we were to let go? So in order to elucidate that point, I'd like to ask Sai Prasananti to come and tell a short story.
Sai Ram. Thank you, Chitra. So I was at work, and we had a project that was very important to deliver on time. And what happened there was a technical issue that I depended on consultants to help me, my own team to help me resolve it. So I really didn't put my head into it. They told me what the issues were, and we had some time having them look at it. So when the team could not do it, I tried to approach outside consultants to help us. This was nearly a month, and it looked like the problem was not getting solved. And we really needed this problem to be solved to go to the next phase of the project. And this was bothering me as the deadlines were approaching. And I was thinking, what do I do? I tried all my resources, and none of these resources are coming to find a solution for me. So I work at the Arboretum, which is surrounded by nature, luckily for me. So I just decided, okay, it's not getting me anywhere. Swami, I think I'm just going to drop it at your feet. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go for a walk. And I went for a walk, and I really enjoyed the walk, the greenery and everything, and the beautiful breath as we take the Soham breath and all that, enjoying my walk. And I was almost in the somewhere when I was closing the walk, something told me what the solution was. And I said, what if we try this? So somewhere, I think my subconscious mind was still thinking about the issue, though I did let go, or it is Swami giving me the solution. But being in the nature, I just felt like after coming out of it, I had the solution, and then I spoke about the cause that I think may be causing the problem, and how to fix it. And the team tried it, and within 2 days we were able to fix it. And this had almost taken a month, and we had no end to that problem. And I think really taking this walk and not worrying about the problem and just being calm really helped me to look through and find the solution. The solution was actually in the problem, and we didn't really look at it. It was like that unmanifest thing that you were all talking about. It was there, but then we couldn't see it. And I think the walk really helped me. Walking in nature is always helpful. We need to plant more trees.
Awesome, Auntie. Thank you so much. Okay, so now, for the sake of time, I see that we have a hand up. I can just take a quick comment, and then I'd like to move to a practice for us to try this
Yeah, I
out.
just wanted to add to what sisters just said about walking into the forest or park. What that reminded me of Dr. Atom Jumsai when he was working in NASA, and when he had the blueprint of his project, and he spent so much time and he couldn't get the solution to a problem, so he left it. And then when he went out and sat in the grass and meditated for some time at lunchtime, and when he came back and sat on his desk, his eyes fell on the particular gap in that blueprint that he had, and he just had to fix that, and the whole problem came back to
Yeah.
normal, and he got a solution to his
Yeah.
problem.
Yes, absolutely. I think that there are many, many stories like this. So appreciate reinforcing that point. In fact, Brother Suresh Govind can share many stories like that as well. So why don't we give it a try? Yes? I want to invite you all to settle into your seats. We're going to do a visualization ourselves so that we can also get a taste of this. And what I'll first ask you to do is just take a few seconds, 10 to 20 seconds to consider a challenge going on in your life. It could be something small like getting ready for tomorrow and the week, and you have a list of things you're trying to put together, or it could be something more significant, something that's been plaguing you for some time, but not too big, because this exercise is not too long, so we can't, nothing like a problem with your in-law or your your significant other, nothing like that. That's major. uh, so let me just give you a second. Okay, so if you're holding this challenge in your mind, I want to offer an opportunity for you to then just let it go at Baba's feet. I'm going to share my screen for a second. Is the sound coming?
No.
No, it isn't.
Okay, let me try again. Now, I invite you to relax. You can place your right hand over your left hand on your lap. And Close your eyes if you'd like to. You can also just look down so you're not distracted by it. Imagine and invite Baba into your heart center. Imagine him just as with the Jyoti meditation, how he's in the lotus flower in your heart. Admire him there, our Guru. Who's given us so much wisdom. And imagine him growing. Wake up your whole body. Light, beauty. Breathe in. And inhale. Exhale. And and continuing the breath. Imagine expanding eyes of the room that you're sitting in. Leave it as hold and building that you're breathing. Imagine all the lights of your community and throughout your city, day, beyond every border, across the ocean. Rock and mountain range. Imagining standing face Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Joining us. Last breath. Gently, gently. Back to it. And thank you for joining with that. Can I ask just a couple of people who would like to share a reflection? How did that feel?
Sairam, it was beautiful. Sorry, we lost some of your speaking a little bit in the music, but it was
Uh-oh.
it was good. Means I have to do more of that to totally let go. So we lost some of your direction, but uh, I know
Yes,
I have a lot of work to do still to
we all
totally.
do. We all do.
So thank you.
Sairam, thank
It was
you.
relaxing. It was relaxing.
Thank
It's
you.
calm.
Yeah, so since you said you missed my instructions, the main point was to increase the size of Swami in from our heart center to through our body, through our whole space that we inhabit, and until he is infinite in the universe. And that visualization um, can be a tool, but there's many others as well, which is expanding uh, the divine presence in our lives. I guess my question is, how did that challenge that you had in your mind when you started, where did that go? I might ask someone who hasn't shared to
Forgot.
just offer a thought.
I forgot about it.
You forgot about it? Wonderful. Great answer. What did someone else came off mute? Would
Yeah,
you like to?
Sairam. I don't know if they have an answer for the problem that I was thinking about, but at least I have confidence that it will come through.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Yes. So at least for this time, we've forgotten about the problem. That's good. Or we have, and then that's wonderful if you have confidence that something will come true. I think one other point here is that when we surrender our problem to Swami, we should also surrender the desire for the problem to be solved. Yeah, right? We should not have an expectation that just because we do this, and I definitely have that experience in my life, where I sit for meditation. I had written a note, put it at the altar, or I had in my mind some problem I wanted to be solved, and then I sat in meditation or at chanting or bhajans. And if I went there with an expectation, Swami, you should answer this for me, does that, to me, that was just one more thing I was adding. Instead, if I just forgot about it, relaxed, allowed myself to forget about it, then eventually some message would come. And if nothing else, I was not fixated on the problem, and that was my stress level or my anxiety level, any of that, having some relief from it through that meditation or through that chanting was something, was the peace of mind. I want to offer, or maybe just allow for Uncle Suresh Govind, if you have anything else to add to what I've just shared, that'd be great. And then we'll go into some breakout groups for some further reflection.
Yeah, thank you. It was a really beautiful session. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. What is most important is what Chitra said is the whole idea of making Swami grow bigger and bigger is because you want to expand your consciousness. When the consciousness starts expanding, or rather awareness starts expanding, the cluttered mind or the problem becomes miniaturized. And this is why brother said, I felt more confident. I cannot remember. It's because awareness became bigger. So one of the ways of doing that is that when you put the problem at Swami's feet and say, Bhagavan, you take care, you need to have an attitude of total surrender, which means to say, whatever the outcome of the problem, you're not bothered about it anymore, number one. You must not say, I want the outcome to be like this, and therefore you should bless it like that. Not like that. If you're given it to Bhagavan, the mind must, once you surrender it, how do you know you've surrendered? The symptom is, or the expression is, you should feel a sense of peace, a sense of happiness, a sense of inner joy. You should have that. And you have no more that concern about the problem. You know already that he will take care of it. That is the attitude of the surrender. It's only from that moment that you will follow back to that gymnastic, you will let go. What do you let go? Letting go is not as important as having the intention to jump on the other bar. If you don't have the intention that you want to hold the other bar, you won't let go. So the power of intention is very strong. That is why Baba said more important than guru is guri. You must have that guri to hold on. I want that bar. Then you let go. But if you want to let go, don't want to let go, and you grapple with that, is because your intention to let go is, intention for the other bar is not strong enough. So this is how you combine both. And why are we doing this? Because unless you glide and hold on to the other go, then only you can slip into the unmanifested potentials. So this entire process is a mechanism for you to experience the incredible, infinite, unmanifested potential each one has in order to address the issues that we have, so that your mind can be calm, so that it can help to transform and transcend to achieve what? To achieve the Atmic bliss and happiness. This is the whole process. Side out.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to go into a breakout group and have an opportunity to talk with each other a little bit more about our experience on any of these points. I will drop some questions into the chat for you to explore in these groups.
Sairam, everyone. We will move into our breakout rooms, but we are at episode 9, and we are going to take one small step forward this month. We want to thank you all for continuing to join our satsangs month after month. If you're a first-time visitor, please, you're welcome. Thank you for joining as well. So today, in your groups, you will be shared a WhatsApp group link through your facilitator. The intention is to continue our discussions through the month, a little bit more intimate group where we can have meaningful deep dive into the concept that we are delving during the main session. So that is only the intent. So our objective is noble and our intent is pure. So please don't feel compelled to, but we kindly encourage all of you to join these WhatsApp groups and continue discussing, taking apart all the things that we are talking as a the big concepts that we are talking into these small group discussions. Of course, Suresh Govind uncle will visit all of the groups, addressing any of the questions you may have. And also we may have, small group discussions depending on the facilitator. We can also have separate sessions, small group sessions as well. So stay tuned. We are going to send you to your rooms and your facilitator will give you more details. Thank you again. Sairam.
And we would invite the people who are, sort of thinking about whether I need to join the breakout group or not. This is a great opportunity to put into practice some of the things that you just learned about in this particular session, which is if you truly want to take a deeper look, you kind of want to go with a tribe that you can connect with. And this allows us the opportunity to do so. And we've all been grateful to have a small tribe like our facilitator group so far to navigate through some of these chapters. So hopefully you'll take advantage of the same as well. Thank you.
What is my next thought? What is my next thought? What is my next thought? Then you find the thought will say, hey, what's happening? Why am I not coming? The thoughts itself starts to jerk away from you. The gap will be starting to fill up. It is in these gaps that you will find that you can slip into the limitless zone. Now, what happens is that the point that Chitra talked about, the gymnastic thing, Swami spoke about the monkey. When he says that if you want to catch a monkey, you need to put a small pot, and then the banana is placed inside that pot. So the hand of the monkey goes inside the banana to catch hold of the banana, and then he can't take it out because the opening is too small for the banana to come out or the plantain to come out. So he holds it. And when he holds it, then the hunter chases the monkey. Actually, he can escape if he lets go of that banana, but he won't let it go. So he will hold the banana and then drag the pot. And when he drags the pot, that's when the monkey catch the monkey and he's caught. In our life, we have got so many monkey pots that we have carried. We put our hands into many things. This is how I think. This is how my belief. This is my notion. This is my perception. So we put all our thoughts like that and hold on to it and then go to temple and go to Baba. Swami, help me. Swami, help me. Swami, help me. But Baba said, let go, let go, let go. But we don't know how to let go. Now, the trick of the game is, as I said, the intention to jump onto the other bar is why you will let it go. If you don't have the intention to transcend ourselves, to improve ourselves, and Baba gave the most powerful intention, you are God, Baba said, you are God. What more? My job is to make you realize you're God. So our better versions of ourselves is to increase our divine consciousness to reach a certain higher level in which we can jump and hold on and let go of all these spots that we are holding on. So if we keep on saying excuses and reasons not to commit and not to say enjoy, not to be involved, then you'll find you're always caught in the monkey pot. For example, this session, 1 hour, 1.5 hour session, which all of you came to enjoy, is a fruit of unmanifested hours that we had experienced. I think easily about 20, 25 hours they must have spent going through, preparing the thing, preparing the trailer, preparing the video. There are hours and hours and hours and hours of work that has been put in. Synchronization, you must say like that, I must say like that, you must speak. So there's a whole lot of things for it to manifest, for you to experience. There is effort. For that effort to take place, people here must have reprioritized their life, changed a certain element of it, arranged their sequence of events, see the dots that is beyond, and connect to those dots. And today you got a very beautiful program that you experience. So this is the entire experience of the unmanifested. There is always this potential which we need to tap in order to manifest this world for this. So Baba said, I made you leaders. For what? To pull men out of wilderness, out of their sheer state. Our role is to bring them up to the next level. But to do that, we have to do that ourselves. So if we continue our life putting our hands in the monkey pots and continue to worry and anxiety and all that, we will not create better versions of ourselves. So the most important thing, my dear brothers and sisters, is that we have to today have a higher intention to hold the higher bar. Number two, let go. Number three, take long walks. Take the sadhana of this meditation, Om, make that more intense. Experience the silence. Fall deeper into the unmanifested zone and create better versions of ourselves. Saira.
Beautiful. Thank you. We always learn from your stories, Uncle. I know having reflected on this over the past month, have much more faith, much more ability moving forward, a confidence that in the moments that feel tough, I will remember this experience and go more quickly to expanding the Atma than fixating on the problem. So we want to leave you all with homework for the next month. So we gave you some ideas of things, whether it's meditation or chanting with the Om or walking in nature, as Cypress and Auntie mentioned, but you may have other ways that you can find the stillness. So identify a specific problem in your life and track it. So I try one of these techniques and then, make a note, journal for yourself, make a note, and then bring it back to your small group. How did you find a solution or an insight? Maybe, as we talked about, we won't necessarily, we can't dictate when the solution will arise. And sometimes it takes a while to unfold. But if you developed any insights from this, please note those down. And then please join that WhatsApp group and use that as a place to dig in further and explore all of these ideas, and hopefully volunteer also to do it, because it'll be a more informal space. You can share any challenges you're having in real time, even getting some ideas what might have worked for other people. And then we can come back next month energized and ready to talk about the next episode. Any other parting thoughts, Geeta?
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant session. It was nice to sort of co-facilitate with you and walk through this journey with the rest of our group as well, and of course, Uncle. And it was nice to see the pieces fall together eventually. What it seemed like, a pot of clay, but I think at the end we ended up walking away with some form of a sculpture in our heads around it. Just wanted to briefly mention that next month's episode may be delayed by a week, given it falls on Labor Day, just given that a lot of you might be traveling or be part of retreats of your own zonal areas. So just make note of the minor shift from the first Saturday to possibly first Sunday to the second Sunday of the month. And we look forward to learning and innovating along with you through this process. Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, and thank you, everyone.
But